Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions regarding this watch. Today, we discuss a Rolex Certified Pre-Owned Oyster Perpetual Sky-Dweller in Ever-Rose Red Gold. This GMT annual calendar is the reference 326135. 42 millimeters in diameter. It's a big watch, though not a huge watch. 14 millimeters thick, 50.1 lug tip to lug tip. It's got a 21 millimeter spacing between the lugs. What I will do, because it can be hard to gauge where my wrist and my hand actually meet, take the glove off just for the wrist shot so you can see the watch more naturally. Now you can see on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, it's a big watch, but it does fit. I could recommend this watch for wrists my size and larger, so let's say 16 centimeters circumference and up. You can see down the barrel, the lugs are not over the edge. Over the top, the lugs are still not out over the edge, and I'm pulling the watch tight, and this is the angle that exaggerates the width of the watch. It's not super thick, but it's not super thin. It does have a sloped bezel. It will slip underneath a lot of sleeves, including just about all jacket cuffs. So that's a good-looking watch ergonomically. Works well. It has a nice heavy clasp to counterweight the watch head. That's important on a watch that doesn't have a bracelet, that the clasp be nicely weighted to counterweight the watch. Of course, the way this works here is Rolex usually provides a case insert, so you have a more integrated appearance when one of its more traditionally bracelet paired watches is paired with the strap. So you can see this little insert under the bezel between the lugs, so there's no gap between the two surfaces. The strap is a medium brown, semi-gloss, medium rectangular scale alligator leather. There is some bolstering to add volume. You can see a monotone stitch and a folded edge, calfskin on the bottom. Because this strap can't be cut to length, several different lengths are offered. We can provide you with any of them. So we are a Rolex Certified Pre-Owned dealer with access to straps. You can see that there are several pairs of divots drilled into the clasp, so you can dismount the spring bar and change the anchoring point. It's a fairly sophisticated clasp. There's this beacon hook spring-loaded lift lock system, so you have to lift it to unlatch it. These two surfaces mate just like that, and you have to lift to unlock, so it does give you a good deal of security. On a different strap, this watch does have a screw-down crown. You can see it's a twin lock in gold, you know, because there's two dots. Solid case back, oyster case profile, so 100 meters water resistant. On a different strap, you could take it swimming. Ever Rose Red Gold. It has what's described as 5N redness. So it's not rose, it's not pink, it is red gold. It's got a high percentage of copper, also a high percentage of platinum family metals, so it will be ever rosy. It will not fade to rose and then pink over time like some pink golds are inclined to do. We do have a screw-down crown here, and the crown is part of the setting system, but so is this fluted bezel. I've always felt that the Sky-Dweller looks like a giant Datejust, and with this bezel it certainly does. And I mean that in the best way. The dial is particularly opulent. You could see the pre-2017 practice of not looming the indices or the numerals, and then a differential color on the 24-hour reference ring relative to the main dial. The watch does feature a Rolex caliber 9001 internally, bidirectional automatic winding with a ball bearing rotor system, 72-hour power reserve, 4 Hz beat rate, 40 pivot joules, a full balance bridge with a free sprung balance for shock resistance, an overcoil hairspring for consistent time keeping in any position. That overcoil hairspring is a Breguet profile to allow isochronous operation, positionally agnostic, but also a niobium zirconium blue oxidized alloy called Parachrom Blue that is highly anti-magnetic. It's a certified COSC chronometer. Rolex then takes the chronometer movement, cases it up, and tests it to run beyond chronometer standards inside the watch. And if you have an older watch that goes back to Rolex, if it's of modern construction, it would be regulated to that standard when it leaves the factory, which is today called superlative chronometers. So that's how they're adjusting newly manufactured watches and then late model watches that go back for service. Other things important to note, well, in addition to being water resistant, shock resistant, and anti-magnetic, you've got that 4 hertz beat rate, 28,800 vibrations per hour. The GMT, which gives you a 24-hour independent second time zone. And then you've got hacking seconds, so you can set the watch to the second, and a bidirectionally settable annual calendar. So we're going to look at those features now. Screw the crown out to its first position, and you can wind this automatic watch manually if you wish to do so. But pull it all the way out, nothing happens. Turn the crown 1 click counterclockwise, the crown, or I should say the bezel, 1 click counterclockwise. The bezel is called ring command. It's part of the movement. Now note that I can turn the date in both directions. Also note this little white index in the apertures corresponding to the 12 months. 12 hours, 12 months. So that's how this watch displays time. So 8:30, for example, is August 30th. And so you can adjust this system forward and backwards, and the month will jump around. Being an annual calendar, it only requires 1 correction per year annually during the jump from February to March. But you'll note that I'm not affecting the hands or the 24-hour ring at center, and the watch is still ticking. Now 1 click counterclockwise, and I can operate the local hour hand. Note the watch is still ticking, and I'm not affecting the second time zone. I can drive the date forward, but I cannot drive it backwards. Finally, that last click till the bezel stops, now you're in hacking seconds mode, and you can set everything precisely. What you want to do here is you want to set the 24-hour reference ring first, and then once you have the correct 24-hour selected and the minute selected correctly, that's when you click clockwise, you set the local time, you click clockwise one more time, you set the date, and by the way, the system is super robust. You cannot damage the calendar by setting it at night. And finally, turn it all the way. Now we're in the freewheeling position, and all this is correctly set, and we can wind it if we wish to do so. Once you're done with that, screw the crown all the way back down. Rolex making every part of the watch, right down to the lubricants and the shock protection used in the movement. So when you buy a Rolex, you buy a watch that is all Rolex. Reach out to Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase and pricing details. Rolex Certified Pre-Owned watches are backed and authenticated by Rolex. Should any reconditioning be necessary, it will be to a Rolex Certified standard, and any parts invested Rolex Factory Original. Should the initial retail box, paper, and accessory set still accompany the watch, it will be included with the sale. But no matter what, a certified pre-owned box and paper set starts with an outer box, a leatherette travel pouch with suede lining, a warranty card that embodies the 2-year globally valid Rolex-backed warranty. Note this is not a retail warranty, but backed by Rolex and actionable at any of its authorized points of sales and service. A leatherette wallet includes the warranty terms and conditions manual. A holographic hang tag marks this as a certified pre-owned Rolex watch, and a manual details Rolex's values as a company. The certified pre-owned program, care, feeding, service, and use of your Rolex, locations of points of sales and service, and details of Rolex.com. Rolex certified pre-owned watches are backed only by Rolex.